right? So one thing I really love about sports is that while of course you're going to have a favorite team, you can always root for individual players for a variety of reasons. Sometimes maybe you've watched them in high school or college and have been watching them for a while and all the way up to the NBA or whatever league they're in. Or maybe they were once on your team and you followed them when they left. Or maybe it's no reason at all. Maybe you just enjoy watching certain players thrive and succeed. And so, yeah, I've picked a couple in my mind that I really enjoy watching in the NBA that aren't on the Warriors and never were on the Warriors. I have some jerseys of each player to kind of show my fandom of them and I guess for a visual. And yeah, the criteria, never been on the Warriors before and not like a retired player because I feel like I'm going to be talking about active players in the league right now. And so you won't be seeing like Kevin Durant because he was already on the Warriors. It's implied I support Kevin Durant because he, won championships with us, or Gary Payton II, right? Someone like that. So yeah, these are my players that I support, even though they're not Warriors. So the first one is Matthew Dellavedova. And so yeah, this is actually a signed jersey by Matthew Dellavedova. I met him like 3 years ago. But yeah, the reason for that is he went to St. Mary's. I'm a big fan of their basketball program. And I had a dilemma because obviously back in 2015, if you can remember, Matthew Dellavedova is best known for his defense, especially on Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry in 2015 was being locked down by Matthew Dellavedova for whatever reason. I mean, Matthew Dellavedova, no one really knew who he was like before that. And then that kind of got his name out there. But yeah, this is a signed college jersey of him just for the visual. But yeah, I mean, he's a really cool basketball player. He's with the Sacramento Kings now, local. So I'll go up there and watch him maybe sometime. But yeah, he's nearing probably the end of his career because he's been in the league for quite a bit. But yeah, always been a fan of him. He's been fun to watch, and I feel like he's a scrappy player. Always a great defender. And so, yeah, first one, Matthew Dellavedova. Next up, a Sacramento King right now, Domantas Sabonis. This is his City Edition jersey from last year. Yeah, I mean, the Kings are like a very close second favorite team for me. And Domantas Sabonis, watched him in Indiana. That's kind of when I first started watching him during the 2020-21 season when he was an all-star and made the skills competition. And I was like, wow, this guy's actually really fun to watch for a guy, on this Indiana Pacers team that's like not super good, but a scrappy team with Miles Turner. And so then he comes to Sacramento in that sort of controversial trade, and you've seen the results. He's been playing super well this season. I got this last season, and so I didn't know like how good he was going to be this year. But yeah, Domantas Sabonis, not as lengthy of a explanation, but simply the Kings are local. I support them, so that's that. Next up, basically for the same reason as Dellavedova, Patty Mills. This is his Blazers jersey. I believe he was only on the Blazers for like 1 or 2 years. He was best known as a Spur and now a Brooklyn Net. But yeah, I've always been a fan of Patty Mills. I actually met him also about 3 years ago. So that's been really cool. And yeah, I met him in Sacramento. And, so I got to meet like those two St. Mary's players. And that was really cool. So yeah, that's that one. Next up, we have a younger player, Deni Avdija. This is his Wizards City Edition jersey from last year. And may I add, this jersey is very, very nice. But yeah, he played in Israel. I watched him there, and I watched the Tel Aviv team before, he made the NBA. He was that guy. He was like the best player on the team. And so then watching the NBA draft, his name comes up, and I was like, yeah, I remember him. He gets drafted to the Wizards in the first round. And the rest is history. He's kind of like a rotation guy now. I'm sure he'll make it up to being a normal starting lineup guy in the future. The Wizards are not the best team by any means. So, yeah, Deni Avdija, big fan of him. And he's on the right track. He's going in the right direction. Next up, actually have 2 jerseys for him. This is Damian Lillard. I feel like this one goes without saying. If you're like a Bay Area basketball fan, you're probably a Damian Lillard fan. This is his high school jersey, Oakland High. That's the reason. I mean, he's a local guy. He's been a perennial all-star in the NBA. Unfortunately for him, he's not been on a great team all the time, but he has made it pretty far in the playoffs. Always been rooting for him unless they're playing the Warriors. But yeah, the Blazers are a team that obviously struggles at times, but Damian Lillard's always been that bright spot. And I think it's really cool owning his high school jersey. It's local. It's really cool. Yeah, Blazers, have cherished him for years at this point. He's been, the face of their franchise. And Damian Lillard, great player. He wears number 0 for Oakland. That for an O for Oakland. And he's an A's fan, he's a Raiders fan like me, so he's definitely an inspiration. The last one is De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is an amazing player. I loved like watching him in college at Kentucky, and then he got to the NBA, drafted by Sacramento. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago at this point? And I always been a big fan of him because he's local, but also I'm a big college basketball fan. If you already couldn't tell by the other selections, and he was very fun to watch. His fast agility, his lateral quickness. He's a very fun player to watch. It goes without saying, he's having a great season this year. I've always been lobbying for him to be an all-star. He's never cut it because he plays in a small market. He's not going to, get those big votes like LeBron, like other players do, even though he might share similar stats. And so, yeah, big fan of De'Aaron Fox. Always have been. And so, yeah, that is all the players I've been, just been supporting that aren't Warriors necessarily. I think, just because you have a favorite team doesn't mean you can't support individuals. I believe that was 6. And so, yeah, guys, that's going to do it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'll see you guys later. And, yeah, peace out.